Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Hey, look us over, lend us an ear, fresh up in clover, mortgaged up to here. But don't pass the plate, folks. Don't pass the cup. I figure whenever we're down and out, the only way is up, and we'll be up like a rosebud, high on the vine. Don't thumb your nose, boy. Take a tip from mine. We're a little bit short of the elbow room, so let us get us some. And look out, world. Hear us shout, world. Hey, look out, world. Here we come. Cut it off. Hi.
Yes. 2 episodes in a row, we are here together.
That's right. We might make it a thing. So today we are filming from the amazing Joan Lynn Dance Company in Hamden, Connecticut, where we just delivered some fun Pride performances, don't we? Here, aren't we here?
Oh my God, it was like a super Pride delivery.
Oh.
So many birthdays and such a great group of people.
Yeah.
And they literally set us up an entire studio, multiple rooms. So we just can't thank the folks at Joan Lynn Dance Company enough for allowing us to be here.
It's so good. It's true community, and we're super, super grateful. So we just want to thank our amazing producer, Patrick Dunn, a.k.a. Kiki Lucia, and of course, our amazing managing our Venmo and PayPal information. Information will be streaming down below. Please remember, this is a fundraiser, but it is also an opportunity for us to connect with community near and far and making CT connections.
Yes.
Hey.
And if you like what you see today, you can make donations in 2 different ways. You can either go to Venmo at CT Imperial Court, or you can go to ctimperialcourt.org/donate and make us a donation. Thank you again, Kate, for watching those for us. And we have 3 amazing beneficiaries throughout the reign that we are raising money for. Mm-hmm. So our first one is A Place to Nourish Your Health New Haven, Mind, Body, and Spirit.
Yes.
They started their work with the HIV/AIDS community, but have expanded to health and wellness and everything that you can think of. APNH, Mind, Body, Spirit.
Mm-hmm. The American Foundation of Suicide Prevention Connecticut chapter. It's so important that people realize that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And so we are so excited to support that organization. And finally,
the New Haven Pride Center. You name it, they do it. They did not take one day off during this pandemic. They did food sharing programs. They did educational programs. Every time I go on Facebook, they're doing something. And we have a very special video from the New Haven Pride Center. Go ahead, producer.
From the first point of entry into the Pride Center, we really started working on how to make sure programming was going to remain intersectional, and there's not one program that doesn't inform the other and vice versa.
We believe in really tapping into 3 different parts of case management. You know, that's direct help to address the immediate need. We believe in education, and we also engage in advocacy.
We have 4 different program officers: a women's program officer, a youth programs officer, a trans program officer, and I am the iteration of a Latinx program officer. Part of the reason that we did it this way is this structure, this programming structure, was basically to ensure that things don't fall through the cracks.
When I have gone to different Pride centers just around the country, I've never seen as much trans programming as there is here, and such an awareness of the trans community, which is especially important because As the community often jokes, the T is
The
silent.
New Haven Pride Center is community.
Transformative.
Fearless.
Intersectional.
Courageous.
Everything I needed and more.
And we are back.
We are back, and guess who we are back with? A board member of the New Haven Pride Center and an amazing dance teacher at the Joan Lynn Dance Company, Dolores Degage Hopkins. Hello. You may remember that Dolores was one of our first guests on CT Connection.
Very first.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were to have a top viewer for CT Connection, it would be Dolores.
Dolores.
I like to watch all of them.
She shares, she likes, she loves.
Yeah, she's everything. So
Glory from this.
right. So, of course, as our sister was here today, because she booked our Pride delivery today, we wanted to just introduce you again to her. We love you so much. Thank
Thank you for being here.
Of course. Are you kidding? We're so glad to be here. So, we do have, as Dolores said, some fabulous jewelry to auction off later in the show. This gorgeous, gorgeous bib necklace. Look how gorgeous that is. Starting at $70. Later in our show, darlings, you could wear it on your head. You could wear it on your neck. You could wear it as a long bracelet. Whatever.
That's the nicest bib I've ever seen. Yes.
Wow.
I mean, we did do 1-year-old birthday parties. We should have brought it there.
Yeah, we definitely should have. So it's so important that we recognize that yesterday was Juneteenth and that now Juneteenth is a federal holiday. Round of applause in virtual land for sure. It is well overdue. It's important to recognize, though, that although the Emancipation Proclamation was in 1863, in 1865, there were still enslaved persons in states in this union that did not know that they were free. And so it is important now that we as a nation ensure that that is a federal holiday, that we celebrate the freedom of individuals, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Crazy it is to think that you are free for 2 whole years
And you don't know it.
and you don't know it.
Yeah, and so when people question, why individuals are marginalized, imagine that for yourself just for a moment. Whatever your identity, whatever your intersectionality may be, imagine not knowing that you have the right to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just wild. And so, yay, Juneteenth. There were a number of Juneteenth celebrations yesterday in and around Connecticut and all over the country. Thank goodness. And so thank you, President Biden, because of course, I'm sure he's watching. I'm sure he's
Baby,
watching.
hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
If you need us, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We'll do a Pride delivery on the White House lawn.
And we'll do CT Connection from the East Room.
There you go, 100%. And I'm sure there's folks out there that still ignore that Juneteenth happened and that things exist. And speaking of which, and speaking of some things that still occur in this world, so yesterday at Wilton Manor Stonewall Pride down in Fort Lauderdale, there was, some say it was an accident, not an accident.
Yeah.
But a truck drove through Wilton Manor's Pride, killed one person, injured the last time I checked.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just reminds us what Pride is all about, and that it's about fighting for our rights, fighting for ourselves. So everyone down in Florida, we are thinking of you. We've heard from so many folks from the Imperial Court of Florida. I met so many of those folks in Kentucky, and it was just devastating to hear that was happening down there. So we are definitely thinking about you, and everyone out there, keep celebrating safely, and keep showing them who we are, because no matter what others do to us, we're going to come out resilient and we're going to fight back and be stronger than ever.
That's right. And, it is so difficult, and it's currently being investigated, as you said, Vu, and we will see what happens, but it is devastating for sure. Yeah. So as we continue, we are delivering Pride to family, friends, and people's backyards, front yards, decks, dance studios, you name it, all throughout the state of Connecticut throughout the month of June. And so we did one today, and it's super fun, Pride performances. It's been super successful. Thank you to all who booked and all who have been supportive.
I believe that next weekend you have a drag brunch coming up.
Oh, we do. We have a fabulous drag brunch hosted by our very own Dolores Degage Hopkins, who was here a moment ago, at Trapisso La La in New Haven, Connecticut, Sunday the 27th, seating at 12 and 2, benefiting the New Haven Pride Center.
And it's so glad to have these brunches coming back up, and the state is opening again. And of course, we have our home bar, the Chez Est, that is doing something every single weekend. So please, if you are in the Hartford area, definitely go check out the Chez. The food is amazing. Kitchen is open until 11, and entertainment there every night. I believe this Wednesday they have Bear Trivia Pride Edition.
Mm-hmm. So much fun, lots of fun. So yes, we also have coming up July 11th, we have our next Chez date. We sort of take over the stage of the Chez the second Saturday of every month. And so this month we are there the 11th of July, and we're so excited. And it's going to be Dancing Through the Decades with a twist. And each of us will be given a year, not a decade, a year.
A year.
We're going to perform a song from a specific year, and I have 2008, and I just don't know what to do.
I have like 1960 something, and I have no idea either.
Yeah, I mean, but you were born then, so you should know.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, still looking good.
Oh, very good.
And we are coming out of the pandemic, but as we know, we have lost so many folks to this awful, awful disease. So we would like to take a moment right now to remember and recognize those folks with a moment of silence. And with that, a reminder, folks, get your vaccines. I think Connecticut is way over 50% vaccinated at this point.
Thank goodness. Yes, please get your vaccines. We certainly appreciate people's opinions and religious needs and political needs, but please really think about your neighbors, your family, your friends, and the vulnerability of people around you, not just you. It's about community, right? And that's what the show is all about, connecting community, Yenny.
Yes,
that's right. So we have amazing guests today. I'm so excited.
We have amazing guests. I know we are featuring 3 amazing individuals from the New Haven Pride Center staff, one of our amazing beneficiaries. So we are excited to get you to know them today. Our first one is Juancarlos Soto, Director of Case Management and Support Services at the New Haven Pride Center. Mm-hmm. 10 years organizing in the Latinx and LGBTQ+ and immigrant communities. Previously worked at Junta for Progressive Action and Planned Parenthood of Southern New England, and a founding member of the Black and Brown Queer Camp, a summer camp for LGBTQ+ Black and Brown youth. Yeah,
amazing. We love Juancarlos. We also have Ochumare, LGBTQ+ Youth Programs Officer for the New Haven Pride. Allah has spent 13 years working for a variety of organizations and advocating for various minority communities and systematically oppressed groups. Allah is a founder and founding member of Black Lives Matter New Haven and one of the facilitators of the Marsha P. Johnson Summer Camp for LGBTQ+ Black and Brown youth. And Allah is our amazing Kyle Edwards, segment producer's guest today. And so we're so excited for that.
And of course, we have Patrick Dunn, and we all know Patrick as the producer of CT Connection. But Patrick is also the executive director of the New Haven Pride Center. Originally from Ankara, Turkey, Patrick holds a BA in nonprofit management with additional studies in creative writing and theater from the University of Hartford. Come on, Yuha. Worked professionally in the nonprofit sector for over 15 years, working for Hartford Stage, the National Steinbeck Museum, and International Festival of Arts and Ideas. In addition, Patrick's nonprofit work, he spends part of his time as professional drag queen and artist, the world-renowned Miss Kiki Lucia.
Mm-hmm. And finally, but certainly not least, okay, we have a very important person to us, to Vu and myself. Our performance spotlight today is Destiny B. Childs, Queen Mother of the Imperial Court of Washington, D.C., and heir apparent to Queen Mother of the Americas, Nicole the Great. Destiny is a change maker in her community. She is a mother and sister to many and works tirelessly to lift up her LGBTQ+ brethren to new heights each day. Mother to Emperor Vu and Sister Empress to me, Miss Frank. We are so excited to have Destiny B. Childs.
100%.
Yes.
So I think you know what time it is.
Oh my God, it's time. It is time for, to quote a queer, darlings. Yes, it is a compendium of wit, wisdom, and devastating remarks. You go first, darling.
So my quote is from Plato, Greek philosopher on love. A lover keeps his eye on the balance sheet, where his interests have suffered from love and where he has done well. And when he adds up all the trouble he has taken, he thinks he's long since given the boy he loved a fair return. I love a good philosophical accounting reference.
See, I'm not surprised that Vu chose that one because, he's the math wizard, and I would say I look pretty, but it's not true. Okay, so moving on. So my choice is from David Kopay, American football player, on love as well. I don't have a lover, but I have many loves. Okay, come on. I like that. I love David Kopay. I wish I knew who he was, but it's fine.
Oh, that was short and sweet.
Yeah, it was very short.
I don't have a lover, but I have many loves. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's my new drag name, short and sweet.
As a reminder, folks, this is for charity, and if you would like to give to our amazing RAIN beneficiaries, you can do so in two different ways. You can go to Venmo at CT Imperial Court, or you can go to ctimperialcourt.org/donate.
Yes. And so we are going to bring on our first fantastic guest, introducing, born in Puerto Rico, Juancarlos Soto, Director of Case Management and Support Services for the New Haven Pride Center. Hi, darling. How are you?
Carlos?
Oh, I was muted. Sorry.
There you are.
How are you doing, love?
I'm great. You would think by now I would know to check and make sure that I wasn't muted, but I'm a hard. It takes me a little bit longer to learn things.
Don't worry about it. We're so glad you're here.
I don't think we're ever gonna learn. I think we could be Zooming for like 10 more years and we will always still be on mute. So we are so glad to have you here and as one of the amazing staff at the New Haven Pride Center. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do there and the case management program?
Yeah, I think I'm going to steal what you said earlier, which is you name it, I do it. Because that's really what we do at the center. I mean, we do everything from helping people who come in to shop at a community closet pick a fierce outfit, which, by the way, as someone who has very little fashion sense, Google has been a huge help to put outfits together. Everything else that people may need, like getting food, applying for SNAP benefits, cash disability, unemployment, making those resumes look really good, and people can help people find safe places to work at, right? Because when we talk about like finding a job, for some of us, not every job feels safe or is even going to look at us and take the time of day to bring us on. So we do a lot of that work for folks so folks don't have to do it, and just, I don't know, just be as welcoming as we can be. And I really love it. I feel like I'm going to put this on a t-shirt, you name it, we do it, for the New Haven Pride Center, because that's really, really,
I love that.
That's a new mission statement.
I would buy one.
Yeah, me too. Buy 5. And give him 4 and keep 1 for me. Who loves his t-shirts? He loves his
I
t-shirts.
do love my t-shirts. I have a t-shirt for every occasion.
Me too.
Yeah,
I love t-shirts. I live in t-shirts.
So both Vu and I have volunteered for the center quite a bit. And every experience we've had at the center has just been life-changing. I mean, the love and support in the environment in the center, cultivated by all of you, but also by the individuals that come in seeking support, they add to that love. And so we just love the center, and we're so glad you're here. So you work as a community organizer, a mentor, community leader, lifting up marginalized people every single day. I have witnessed it myself, my friend. So tell us about your artwork. We're curious about that and how you use it as a tool for activism.
Yeah, so my art, so how it started was when I first moved to the States from Puerto Rico and I was starting to learn English. I used to carry a little notebook in my back pocket. And when I didn't know how to say things, I would like draw it out and be like, this is what I'm trying to say. So then I started realizing that if I could draw some of the things that we sometimes have a hard time understanding, like if you've ever sat down with someone and you sort of like, you're trying to get your point across, but the person has dug their heels, it's really hard to get you to like the other person to see their point or you to see your point, or whatever. So I realized that art has this ability to disarm us, and we can tell stories and we can evoke emotions in people without all the words that get in the way. So that's what I try to do. And sometimes it really is about going back to where it started with I don't know how to say things that I'm trying to share with people. I fancy myself a decent verbal communicator, but when it comes to writing, I'm shit at it. So I draw it, right? I'm really good at drawing what I need to say. So that's how I do it. And it's a way for me to share with the world who I am, what I believe in. You know, for me as someone who is a Puerto Rican, I come from this town, this is our town emblem. I have, you know, as we know, Puerto Ricans is sort of a mix of all these different races, and I myself I can trace Taino heritage to, you know, to my family. So that's a part of who I am that often goes unshared with the world. So I started creating some Taino inspired art to share who the Tainos were with people, what we were about, you know, what we stand for. And I don't know, I like sharing things and I like making people happy. And I think one of the things that I love to do is I'm really silly. So I like making people laugh, because the way I lead the world, like my life, is if I can make you laugh or feel good for like 10 seconds, those are 10 seconds that you don't have to worry about any pain, any drama, anything that's going on in your life. So that's what I like to do when I do my art.
Definitely. And I love all that. And that's the value of the arts. I mean, for me, it's the same when I perform, and it's when you need to express something and words just aren't enough and you need something extra. I mean, I've seen performances in different languages and not understand a single thing that's going on, but I know where they're coming from, and I understand them. So I think those are the values of the arts and why we need to keep on teaching art in school.
Oh, so important. And if you are out there and you are a superintendent and you are thinking of cutting the arts in schools, Miss Frank and Vu want to talk to you.
I'll roll up too. I'll roll up too and be like, what up? What are we doing?
JC's gonna sign on. We're all coming for you. And speaking of youth and uplifting them, in your bio, we talked about the Black and Brown Queer Youth Camp. And can you explain a little more about the mission and how you got involved and what y'all do there?
Yeah, so you know, I was thinking, I love youth work. I actually, at one point in my life, wanted to be an art teacher. It's what I wanted to do. And then somehow sort of looked at the world and I was like, oh shit, it's on fire. By the way, I'm sorry I keep cursing. I have a potty mouth, so I apologize.
Do you know us?
So I was like,
do you know us? Or do you know me? He's a good boy, not me.
so, you know, it felt like the world was on fire. So I went into activism, so into organizing, community organizing, and all these things. And I wanted to find a way to connect with youth, because that's where my heart is, right? I love youth work. And I was thinking, like, what is the one thing as a young queer Latino that I wish I had growing up? And that was a connection to my queer ancestors, to the LGBT ancestors that are connected to me and my story, and the reason why I'm able to do everything that I'm able to do. And I used to work at Planned Parenthood and needed an intern, and I reached out to Janice Cajigas from Citywide Youth Coalition, a powerhouse, a force of nature human being who's literally changing New Haven every day. And I told her, I was like, look, I have this crazy idea of doing this 2-day like little program with young people where we're talking about queer history from a Black and Brown perspective. We're teaching art. We're talking about how we interact with religion, because for Black and Brown folks, religion is a huge part of our culture, like our everyday culture. So it's hard to separate from that. So we wanted to talk about all of that. And Janice, being this amazing human being, looked at me. She goes, 2 days? We can do 5. And I was like, okay, girl, let's do it. And sort of started it. And we didn't know what we were doing, pulled on a lot, and it worked. I mean, it worked. Called Patrick. I think it was 2 days before the event was going on, in a panic. I need a space. I don't know what I'm doing. And he was like, come to the center and I'll do you one better. I'll get you food for the young folks. And I was like, oh, good, because I didn't think about that.
That Patrick.
Yes. Well, it is so true. I mean, if you know Patrick Dunn, you know that if you are in need of space, support, a grant, a shoulder to cry on, you name it, somehow Patrick finds it for you at all hours of the day and night, on holidays, you name it. Okay, you
Yeah.
name it, Patrick does it. But no, you're so right, Juancarlos. And it's so important that these young people have a space all their own, because for too long their needs have been blatantly ignored. And so we're super excited, and I look forward to supporting that in any way that I can. I've been volunteering a lot more at the center lately, and I'm super excited to continue to do that. So you do all this work at the center individually and with the amazing staff there. So I'm just curious, I mean, who inspires you? Certainly you named Allah, and certainly you named Patrick, but who inspires you to continue this work with LGBTQ, Latinx, POC individuals every day? Who inspires you to continue this very challenging work sometimes?
Yeah, I think my biggest inspiration in my life and the person that who like sort of pushes me forward is my grandmother. She was talking about forces of nature. She definitely was a force of nature. She was an incredible human being that had the ability to see not only the good in people, but the potential that everybody carried, and sort of had this amazing way of whenever you stood in front of her, like you felt like you could do anything. Right. So I try to capture that spirit to the best of my ability, that whenever I'm interacting with people, I do the same thing. And she really taught me never giving up, that there's always a way, and that we really need to fight for the world that we want to live in. And that's what I do. She's a huge inspiration, and the youth that we work with. I mean, just seeing these young people who aren't taking any crap from a world that, wants to marginalize them, wants them to be quiet, sit down, fit into boxes, and they're willing to like just kick down walls, do their thing, be their authentic self. That is incredibly inspiring. I think I've learned from them more about being resilient, being loving, being yourself than I've wanted to teach them, right? Like I go in and I'm like, oh, I'm the adult in the room, I'm going to teach you about this or that. And then I leave and I'm like, oh, wow, I learned a lot about the world, which is incredible.
And it's out of the mouths of babes, right? Because they will always tell you the truth, and they will always tell you what you are not giving them. And I think that's so important, because if we want our youth, and particularly our marginalized youth, to lead this world forward in positive ways for all people, we have to give them what they need. We have to give them the tools, we have to give them the advocacy, we have to give them the access and opportunity. And so it's just very clear that you and everybody at the center does that every single day. And we're so grateful that you came on to be with us today. Will you stick around for a game later, darling?
I am. I'm going to stick around for awesome game. I'm excited to play.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
I love Juancarlos.
That's only our first guest.
That's only our first guest. I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, we're so lucky to have such an amazing, amazing community. And just for a moment, if she will come over, indulge us. The owner of Joan Lynn Dance Company, please, who is our hostess today, please come on over, my darling Joan. Mama Joan, as they call her. Come on over, darling. So this is our amazing hostess today, owner of the Joan Lynn Dance Company. Oh, yes. So look, we could not have been more welcomed by this amazing person, her family, her friends. It's an amazing community. And so if you love dance and you are in and around Connecticut, around Hamden, please come here. Send your children here, right? They have adult classes as well. It's an amazing, amazing place. Do you want to say something about what y'all do?
Yeah, and we have Miss Didi, Miss Dolores Degage is our ballet mistress. She heads up our ballet program, and I cannot thank her enough, because our kids have made leaps and bounds because of Miss Didi. So please, if you're thinking about sending your children to dancing school, please give us a try. Our first class is always trial, so you don't have to pay for that. And I was so proud to host this today, and I am so happy for all of these people.
We love you, Joan. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really, I mean, we couldn't be more lucky to have this amazing community.
That sounds wonderful. I'm not sure I could survive a Miss Didi ballet class, though.
Yeah,
no, I'm not sure I would. No,
I have a feeling that no. Absolutely not. So we're going to continue our show right along, and we are going to welcome our amazing, dear friend and colleague, fellow member of the Imperial Sovereign Court of All Connecticut, Lord Kyle Edwards, with his Kyle Community Corner and his amazing guest, Allah Ochumare. Yay!
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Again, continuing of our Pride, Happy Pride. Each one of us carries multiple identities. So many of our identities intersect. It is this intersectionality that connects us. If we take the time to explore and embrace these intersecting identities, we will realize that we have more in common than we have that is not in common. Together, we are stronger, we can move mountains, and we can build a better tomorrow. So it is my pleasure to introduce you to Miss Ala Ochumare. She truly strives by this motto. Ala,
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I am really good. I'm really good. I'm spending time with my family, and I'm spending time with my family, so I'm having a really good day.
Of course. Our wonderful host and hostess did introduce you. You have an extensive rap sheet of all the brilliance that you do in the community. So I'm not going to reiterate it because I do want to get right into the questions with you. I want to pick your beautiful mind. So skipping over my little write-up of you. So tell me a little bit about your motivations. What events or stories motivated you to take up the work you do within the community?
It's actually really funny. When I was sitting I'm visiting my grandmother right now, and I was sitting in this room although it looked a little different, when I decided to start the chapter of Black Lives Matter in our city. And that was after watching the Zimmerman trial. It was after talking to my son, who was really young at that point, and knowing that I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do, but that I didn't want to just sit and watch things anymore, that I wanted to try to do something proactive, and I needed to figure out what that was. And then I went to Sun, who has been my best friend since I was 9 and she was 11, and who was already very active and city infrastructure and understanding what was going on. And I went to her and asked her if she would start the New Haven chapter of Black Lives Matter with me. And we've been rocking ever since and really trying to dismantle the system in every single way since then. I think watching my family and friends hurt due to street violence or systemic violence, just violence in the way that it is very insidious how it gets inside us, and we also act out that violence towards the people who oftentimes look like us or in our direct communities. And I wanted to be able to undo that with myself, and I wanted to be able to not. My son identifies as a straight cis male, and I didn't want, and he's Black. And although, yes, we don't want him to get murdered and I want him to be able to come home, for me, it was more important for him to not dislike his queer mother and also to be able to move in the world and in ways that are not harmful to Black women who I was raised by. You know, I want him to be a lot like the Black men that I grew up with and that I know and I have the fortune of being reared under. So I wanted to make sure that I could do my part to do that as well.
Very good, very good. I've known you for quite a while. You truly are a devoted community leader and a mother and an amazing soul. So it's actually really touching to hear that is some of your motivation for what you do. So thank you.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. How do you incorporate your lived experiences into your work? Such as how do these experiences, how do you use them as a tool to bring about visibility, action, discussion on subjects that affect our community?
I think as a Black woman and a Black queer woman, although I'm very privileged to be cis in this world, not saying that being cis is a privilege, but in this world that we're in, being cis is a privilege, even if you were a really terrible person. But for me, I'm not just a Black woman. I'm not just Black. I'm not just a woman. I'm not just queer. I'm not just a former teenage mother and a young mother. I'm all those things at one time. And it's hard to sorry, one second. It's hard to do one thing for one of parts of my identity without doing the things for the other parts of my identity. And so it's hard to wrap that all up in one thing. So I have to do several different kinds of Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on.
It's okay. She's putting that mom foot down right now. That's what it is.
Thank you. I'm sorry. We're
No, it's
we're all
fine.
in one house and we're doing our Father's Day cookout too. But so I wanted to create spaces, one that I needed as a young person trying to figure out my queerness, as a young person trying to figure out my blackness. I was really fortunate to go to South Africa when I was in high school, and I went to Robben Island and I did the whole tour of Robben Island, and it really plagued me. You know, I grew up in Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut. I had some of the best education that Connecticut and private schools could offer, and I realized though that I was not taught about race and racism. That I was not taught about a place like Robben Island existed currently. You know, then in my lifetime, folks were imprisoned there, and it was modern day enslavement. And so all those things, you know, I want to be able to create a split space for each one of my individual identities, and also for my identities when they're wrapped in together. And I find that if I get to do all of that, it's almost no one that is gets left out when we're thinking about programming, we're thinking about arts, we're thinking about partnerships that we want to create, and we want to build and really like get get in the meat of partnerships, and break the silos that we see happening in queer communities and our Connecticut community, and when we're talking about race and ethnicity in those communities as well.
So you do mention that. So from my understanding, you are recognized as one of Connecticut's most you're Connecticut's most recognized anti-bias and anti-racism trainer. Is that my understanding?
I don't know if I'm the Connecticut's most recognized, but I'll take that and receive that, and I will make sure I do the work that in a couple of years that I am deserving of that title. But I will say, what I will say is, over the last couple of years, I've gone and studied under some of amazing anti-bias, anti-racist mentors. I've learned from the People's Institute that is based out of for Survival and Beyond, which is based out of New Orleans. I've learned from Beyond Diversities, which is from Neonu Span, which is housed here in Connecticut. I've also studied with Critical Resistance, that's based out of and found in California. My mentor is a Black Lives Matter Houston. My mentor in Black organizing is a Black Lives Matter Houston organizer. And so I find that I don't just go to one track to learn things.
Mhm.
And most folks they don't add the anti-bias. It's just anti-racist. But for me, I'm a queer woman. And so I'm not just a Black queer woman. So I find that anti-racism still, when it's not holistic, it still allows a lot of patriarchy, anti-queerness, anti-transness, hate for differently able people to come in there. And so for me to squash all forms of oppression, I have to be an anti-bias, anti-racist facilitator, practitioner, and organizer. So thank
They
you.
do go hand, of course, and they do go hand in hand. They really do. Absolutely. So I do want to ask you, in your opinion, how can we come together to create a more unified front to better our community for the youth? Since you are the New Haven Pride Center's youth program manager, what do you think that we should do to create a unified front to make a better tomorrow for the very kids that will be leading our world tomorrow?
I think that is our job as older youth, and those of us, who are older than the older youth. I think it's our job to for us to unify and us to create very intersectional spaces, for us to think back on who we were as young folks and children, figuring out who we were and all the spaces that we needed that didn't exist. And I think it's our job to provide and create those spaces, but also make sure that unlike when we were growing up in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, that when we're thinking about creating these spaces for queer youth, they're also thinking about creating them for Black queer youth, for Latinx queer youth, for non-white queer youth, for white queer youth. Knowing that white folks need to learn about all those things too, so that they're in our queer community. I have received and experienced a lot of racism and watched a lot of anti-transness happen in our queer community. And so for us to think about that and honor the fact that young people have done the work to give us the language that most of us who are 30 and up, those of us who are now now non-binary, those of us who are came out and finally transitioned into who we really were in our late 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and beyond. That is because young folks have done the really, really hard work of naming. And so let's honor them back and create intersectional spaces and work together to create that space.
No, that was absolutely beautiful. I have a final question for you. If there was one thing you can do, let's say you had a magic wand, right? You're Allah the Amazing. If there was one thing that you could change, one law, one mindset, what would you do? What would be your change?
I would remove capitalism from the world. I find that in my historical research and in my work of being an anti-bias, anti-racist organizer and facilitator and creator, that capitalism is actually often is the starting point for patriarchy, for racism, for anti-transness, for anti-queerness. It is the reason why we are all colonized, why all of our lands, even European countries, are not as they would be without capitalism. So I feel like let's skip all the babies of capitalism and go right to the parent and undo capitalism, and we undo oppression, major identity-based oppressions.
Very good, very good. Well, thank you so much, Olive, for taking the time to speak with me. I truly just want to say, of course, I want you just to keep up the good work, all that you're doing for the youth. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will.
See you soon.
So I will say, y'all were having so much fun in your interview, but I was having fun with Anna Springer here, and we were laughing and having a good old time. And let me just say, every time I have been in space with Allah, I have been laughing more than I ever have in my entire life. Your spirit is so full and so loving, and thank you so much for what you do for our POC youth. It's so needed. As a professor at a college that serves primarily students of color, they are our future. And what we said to Juancarlos earlier is, if we do not give them support, safety, access, and opportunity now, we can never realize as a humanity what and who we could be.
Ashe,
so
yes,
thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
We love you.
To make me cry. I love y'all too. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
We love you.
I honor each and every one of you. Thank you.
Congrats, Kyle. Good job, baby.
She laid down the law to whatever Father's Day cookout was going on.
And see, that's the thing. So Allah is literally one of the funniest people that we know, but also can lay down the law and is a change maker in everything that she does. And so we love Allah, and congratulations to Kyle, as always. Perfection.
As always. And, oh, by the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Dad, if you're watching, happy Father's Day.
Hey, my dad's not watching, but that's okay.
Mine isn't either. But we also have chosen family dads that might be watching.
Yes.
My court dad Rudy, our rain dad Trevor Reynolds.
Yeah, we have lots of father figures.
Yeah, so whether you are a dad biologically or a dad chosenly, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, I mean, you're my daddy. Can I have $500?
So moving on into our next segment. By the way, if you are enjoying what you're seeing, except for anyone calling me daddy, you can make a donation. You can go to Venmo at CT Imperial Court, or you can go ctimperialcourt.org/donate. I'm still in trauma, so we're gonna bring on our next guest. Please welcome to your virtual screen our producer and executive director of the New Haven Pride Center, Patrick J. Dunn.
Hello, my darling. Look at you wearing literally multiple hats today.
Literally and figuratively.
Literally and figuratively, yeah. So, I mean, Patrick, I don't think that we can say more, but your bio is so perfect. So I want to remind our amazing audience exactly who you are and the work that you do. And so you're going to have to sit there and be praised, which is not something I know you like, but deal with it, sis. So, from Ankara, Turkey, Patrick holds a BA in Nonprofit Management with additional studies in creative writing and theater from the University of Hartford. Worked professionally in the nonprofit sector for over 15 years, working for Hartford Stage, National Steinbeck Museum, the International Festival of Arts and Ideas, appointed as a member of the LGBTQ+ Health and Human Services Network, a state subcommittee of the Connecticut Commission on Women, Children, and Seniors, and the commissioner for the City of New Haven's Cultural Affairs Committee. In addition, Patrick's nonprofit work, he spends part of his time as professional drag artist, Kiki Lucia, and of course, is the executive director of the New Haven Pride Center. Did I miss anything?
Probably.
You missed amazing grill chef now.
Yeah.
I'm also on a couple boards, but it's fine.
Yeah. So if you name a nonprofit organization in the state of Connecticut or an organization that needs support, Patrick is there. Right? There's no doubt about it. So
I try.
You don't have to try. It's just inherent to you, my darling. So please, and certainly we heard from Allah and we heard from Juancarlos, but please share with our viewers the mission of NHPC and an overview of your services, please.
Sure. So I'm not going to give you the exact mission because I'd rather describe the center how I like to talk about it.
That's
so the New Haven Pride Center, everything that we do falls into one or more of our 5 areas of focus. So at the New Haven Pride Center, we do five things. We provide case management and support services, everything that Juancarlos was talking about. In addition to all the services that he provides, we also provide spaces for people to come together and create peer-led support groups. So all the ways in which people can find or need to find support. Number 2 is creating opportunities for people to come together for shared experiences. Come together, learn from each other, be a part of community in together. And so many different things follow under that. A lot of our social programming is under that, but there's other pieces too, where people can come together and have that experience together in that moment. Third is arts, culture, and humanities, which is super important to us. At the New Haven Pride Center, we always say that we like to take a holistic approach to service, which means that you don't just come in here and we put a Band-Aid on your need. You don't just come in here and maybe get some food from a pantry, but while you're getting food, you might be able to also explore an art exhibit, or you might be also able to take a look at the books in our library. And so really allowing people to have that holistic experience when they come into our space, that not only are they getting the services they need, but they're getting it in a positive environment that's going to uplift them and treat them with dignity. Because a lot of people, myself included, I hate asking people for help. And when someone usually ends up at our door, they're in such a dark place. If they're asking us for help, it's actually, I call Juancarlos a miracle worker, because some of the things that he's able to do in like an hour, it's like it's totally incredible. And then fourth is youth empowerment and education. A lot of that's Allah, but we really believe in empowering and uplifting youth. We have youth that participate in all of our programming at all levels. We employ young people to come and work at programs. Last summer, we employed a high school student to come and coordinate our entire food program all summer long. We have hired young people to come and help curate programming and work with people like Allah and our program officers to bring different programs to the table through a youth lens, right? Ooh, as I knock something over. And then the fourth piece is we do advocacy work. We spend time advocating everything from all the way down to the local level, all the way up to the federal government. We regularly sign petitions along with many other organizations around the country to urge the White House or various agencies within our federal government to do better and be accountable for the decisions that they're making, while also doing the same thing locally. I have on more than one occasion been on a press conference with the lieutenant governor and in front of an entire press corps, called her out for something she said. I did that once. I did actually do. It was an HIV conference and it was right after former President Trump decided to declare that young trans people shouldn't be allowed to play sports in the sports that they identify. And Connecticut was being sued by the federal government because we were refusing. And there was a threat to take away public school funding. And the governor earlier that day had been quoted in the newspaper saying like, well, we're considering all of our options. And I literally at the end of the conference, she's like, Patrick, do you have any final words? And I said, please don't sell our civil liberties to the federal government for some aid for our public schools. And she turned green and I was taken off the screen.
You know that's a good sign when you're taken off the screen.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, this is a long way of me saying the mission of the New Haven Pride Center is to make sure that we are creating space that the community needs at all times and addressing the needs of our community whenever they possibly need them, and even sometimes when they don't know that they need them, and fighting behind the scenes and in front of the scenes to make sure that our community has access to every single thing that every person who is not queer has access to at all times, because that's really what equity comes down to. It's about making sure that LGBTQ people, regardless of who they love, how they love, whether they have 7 boyfriends or they're trans, whatever, that they have access to what they need to have a thriving life. You know, that was something Juancarlos said the other day. We were represented on like a regional call, and all the other community centers were like, oh, we're surviving and we're teaching people how to survive. And it's like, no, that's not what we want at the New Haven Pride Center. We want people to thrive. We want people to have the best life that they can possibly have so that they can go and live in this beautiful, beautiful world and be a part of it in all the best ways possible.
Right. I mean, so when we said before, you name it, they do it, I think Patrick just literally explained all that in 5 very succinct points. And there really isn't any more to say except that it's one thing to hear it, but if you have the opportunity to volunteer at the New Haven Pride Center or see what they do live and in action, it's a whole nother experience. So thank you for what you do. And I'm just curious, and I know the audience is curious, like what led you to this nonprofit activism work? Like, how did you get started? Like, what factors motivate you?
So as far as like what motivates me to be in nonprofit, it really goes back to people like my grandmother, who I watched growing up raise money to open the National Steinbeck Museum because she believed so firmly that John Steinbeck was an author that deserved a museum in our country. It happened again when my grandparents took on the city of Salinas in California. After they shut down all the public libraries because they said it was too expensive for the city budget. And my grandmother and my grandfather rallied all of the people in the town to raise enough money to not only reopen the libraries, but like make a permanent endowment that ensured that they would never be closed again. It was watching people like my dad and my mom and my baba and my stepmother going out and volunteering and doing community service and doing work and sacrificing big chunks of their lives to be in service to community. And so for me, when I went to college, I had this idea that I was gonna be a professional dancer, and that was what my life was gonna be. And I got to college and I looked around and I had this very harsh realization that I was not good enough to be a professional dancer, that I was never gonna actually be able to live doing that, right? And it wasn't because I was a bad dancer, it's that there was a million dancers in the world and half of them were better than I was. And there's like 4 dance spots. And that realization made me kind of really reevaluate what I wanted to do. And so I wanted to at first stay in the arts, and then I got really involved in things like Love Makes a Family, which was the nonprofit agency that passed marriage equality in the state of Connecticut. I was a college student then, knocking on doors. I got really involved in what used to be called Connecticut AIDS Coalition. It's now called AIDS Connecticut. Because coming from the Middle East, where I had no sex education ever in my life. That is not something that is talked about. And so coming to the United States and coming out of the closet and having that experience of like lots of sex and being wild and not knowing, and then having this like fear of learning what HIV was, learning what it can do to your body, and learning the fears that it created within myself of like, oh my God, if I get this, what happens? It made me very conscious of wanting to participate more in our community. And so I got really involved with the Hartford AIDS Walk for many years. And that just kind of led from there. I've only ever professionally worked in nonprofit. I've never had a job that's paid me what I should be paid. I've always had to live off of credit card debt and, you know, cans of tuna and very low grade cuts of meat. And it is what it is. I wouldn't want it any other way. And as far as like why I do this every day, it's not, I don't do it because I want somebody to see me in some special light or anything like that. I just want to make my little corner of the world a little bit better for everybody else.
You clearly do that, Patrick. And, you know, look, we've been friends for quite some time. You have been, beyond just being a loyal friend, there are very few members of our community, our rich, amazing LGBTQ plus community in Connecticut. But there are very few leaders, real leaders in that community who everybody looks to. And whether they say it or not, everybody looks to you. Everybody looks to you.
Well, thank you.
And I think it's important that we recognize that. So please tell us more about the Connecticut LGBTQ plus Health and Human Services Network, please. Thank
you. Yeah, no, I mean, so I don't know if they're actually looking at me or if they're just like, oh, here's this stupid workhorse that will do what needs to be done. But no, so the Health and Human Services Network, it was a really cool initiative that amazing Rep. Jeff Curry and the LGBTQ caucus put this together. Rahib Ali Brennan was another major part of this. And so the two of them put this bill together, and it's modeled after the LGBTQ health commission that is in, I believe it's in Jersey, if I remember correctly. It's a couple of years ago now, so it's a little fuzzy. But so they put this together. It's the idea that there should be an arm of our government, our state government, that is concerned with the needs of LGBTQ people from public health standpoint, but also just generally, right? Because that can bleed into, you know, health is such a broad term. And like in Connecticut, for example, we're trying to redefine the idea that housing is a fundamental right for health and is a public health crisis if people do not have housing, right? So we actually in Connecticut are using health and the idea of health services and public health as a tool to advocate for things and change that we see that needs to happen. So the health network was introduced 3 sessions ago to the state legislature, and it names myself and 12 other state folks to be permanent commission members, unless we choose to give up our seat and advocate it to somebody else within our organization. And then there's some additional seats for, like, there's a seat that's guaranteed for a doctor. There should always be a doctor on it. So I'm named in the actual legislation that was written and passed. But I actually went and testified before the state Health and Human Services, public health, whatever it is, subcommittee, and I made them all cry. But I had to go advocate at the state level to get this passed, and it included a $250,000 investment from the state in doing a statewide needs assessment survey to assess how the existing services in the state were working, with the idea that in year 3 and 4, which we're about to start, they would allocate an additional $250,000 to be invested in services to expand existing services and ensure that there weren't mass pockets of LGBTQ service deserts where there's nothing at all, which there are big chunks of parts of our state that are like that. And so it's actually a really ingenious concept, and hopefully will commit the state to having this kind of funding guaranteed for our community in perpetuity, right? Because the age-old saying in Connecticut is, if you get it in the budget once, it's harder to get rid of it. And so thankfully that we have that. And then actually in the session that just passed 2 weeks ago, the new budget includes an additional $300,000 guaranteed to LGBTQ organizations in our state, including a $100,000 line item for this New Haven Pride Center. So that's awesome. But yeah, it's a really cool concept where our needs assessment survey results are coming out in July, which I'm really excited to see. We had a massive percentage of trans people actually fill out the survey, which is kind of exciting. It's going to skew some of the results because the percentage of trans people filling it out is much higher than the percentage of trans people kind of on a population base. However, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because that's going to give us a lot of really good data to understand where the real holes are. Because I can tell you what I think the holes are, but you never know, right? And hearing from people actually to know, it's exciting to actually have real data, because there's never been a needs assessment of the LGBTQ community in Connecticut ever done. The closest thing we have is the William Institute in LA, which does a study every couple years. So this is really exciting, and to have the network pass unanimously through a committee that is predominantly Republican is also really, really exciting. I ended up having to, when we did the testifying, I luck of the draw, I ended up first. And so they just laid all the questions on me and then didn't ask anything else to anybody else, because I had convinced them by the end of my part. So all the other testifiers just kind of sat there and they were like, cool, thanks for your testimony, bye. But I made the commissioner cry, because her daughter's a lesbian. And I was talking about how I always say we're such a unique community, right? Because LGBTQ people, we really don't have shared experiences as a community, because just take Juancarlos, myself, and Allah as three people from vastly different racial demographics and countries of origin. We have very different experiences, but the one shared experience that every queer person has is a fear that their parents will stop loving them. And that is the one experience we all share that feeds into our community's identity. And so when I said that, the chair of the committee started crying, and she's like, my daughter's a lesbian, and I had no idea that she ever had that fear. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fund our bill.
So let's get this straight. You change the world by making people cry. And I'm joking. No.
Well, I do that, but that's how I get gay, not straight. So we're not shooting for straight.
It is very clear. And if
I did straight for 18 years. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, it is very clear. And if it is not clear to our guests, they need to turn their volume up, that you are a leader in our community and around the world, and that the work you do and that the staff of the New Haven Pride Center does every single day, literally, we have seen it in person, saves people's lives. Saves people's lives. You are responsible for people continuing to live. All of you are. And so if there's ever that sense that perhaps you may not be doing enough, because I know you, Patrick Dunn.
Oh, I will say it. We are never doing enough, because there's always too much.
Well, but I just want you to know I have been there when at-risk individuals have come into that center, and you have fed them, you have clothed them, you have helped them find housing, you have helped them find health insurance. You have honored their dignity and respect as human beings, and that, my friend, is saving someone's life. So thank you to you and your staff. So would you stick around, please, for a little game afterwards? We're gonna have a little fun.
Yes, I will. But can I say one more thing before I go? I know I like to talk too much. I like to stick as many sound bites into when I get this kind of time. No, I just want to do a big shout out to the incredible team of people that make up the Pride Center. I think a lot of times I get praised and get recognized, and it's really so much more about all the people around the center that are doing the work every single day. And one person in particular who is not on this today, but needs all the love and everything that any of us can muster, is Laura Bocadoro, who Laura came to the Pride Center as an intern, and through a state grant that allowed us to have a paid intern position. She and Allah both started at about the same day. I think they were like apart like by 3 days, their start times, and they were the kind of second and third employees, so to speak, of the center after me. And Laura gives so much of her soul into the work that we do. And like literally, she deserves all the awards and all of the accolades that the center gets, much more than I do, because the way in which she serves our community through her work is just immeasurable. And so I give a big shout out to all the staff of the center, because everybody works, particularly in this last year and a half, where most of us have worked 7 days a week since the start of the pandemic. But I really want to give that shout out to Laura, because there's been times when Laura's not full time, when Laura was the lowest paid employee at the center, but she was still working harder than half of us 90% of the time.
Well, and there's something to be said about the type of humanity that you all exhibit and that therefore you garnish from people. And that, just from an outsider's perspective, although I feel a member of the family, I've always been made to feel, and Vu can say, I'm sure too, a member of the New Haven Pride Center family, and we're super, super excited that we are raising money for this amazing organization. We're so glad that we could highlight what y'all do for our community today. And so we'll see you in a bit for a game, lady, okay?
Okie dokie.
Love you.
Great. That's so good. That was Executive Director of the New Haven Pride Center, everyone, Patrick J. Dunn. Yep. So amazing folks today from the New Haven Pride Center. You've heard about what they do. They are one of 3 amazing RAIN beneficiaries that we had, along with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and A Place to Nourish Your Health. Yep. We are raising money for them today. So if you have an extra $1 or $2 or $5 or $10, please go ahead and send us a donation on Venmo at CT Imperial Court or at ctimperialcourt.org/donate.
That's right. And so we want to move this show right along. So we are so honored and so lucky to truly have a member of our family on today with us. In addition to these amazing staff members from the New Haven Pride Center, who we consider family, we hold this individual's name. And we are so grateful to have that name. And so we want to welcome to the virtual stage the one and only Destiny B. Childs, Queen Mother of the Imperial Court of Washington, D.C., and heir apparent to the Queen Mother of the Americas, Nicole the Great. Destiny is a change maker. She is our everything. She is my sister. She is your mama, a little bit of my mama too. We love you. We're so glad you're here.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm very excited. Y'all look amazing.
You look gorgeous, honey.
I'm loving this fun and flirty hair, mama.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We heard you had a brunch.
Been in drag since 8:30 a.m., so I'm surprised I still look perky.
We heard you had a fabulous brunch today.
I did. It was fabulous. It was a lot of fun, very hot, but a lot of fun.
I'm sure. It's hot down there. People forget that DC is kind of like almost in the South, honey.
Girl, yes, it does. It gets very warm here very fast.
Yes.
I know that Stonewall happened in the month of June, but we may need to move Pride Month at some point because these Pride events outdoors, it's hot.
That's right.
That's
right. So we got a few questions for you, sister. And then we hear that you are blessing us with a fabulous performance. So we're super excited about that. People may not know as much as they should about the Imperial Court system, and in particular the Imperial Court Council. And so can you speak to our viewers a little bit about what that is, what it means to be an heir apparent, and your experience there?
Well, thank you very much. So let me start with the heir apparent. It's an honor and a privilege to be named an heir apparent to Queen Mother, one of the Americas, Nicole the Great. For you to be named an heir apparent, that means not only did she see something in you as an individual, but somebody within the court system, whether it be your board or your college who nominated you, they saw something in you that they thought that not only can you help locally, but you can help on an international level. And that's what the International Court Council is. It's a council that works on the international level. We try to incorporate everything for the States, Canada, and Mexico and work together as one united front to raise money or awareness for our LGBT community. So we do different things. Like this year, the biggest thing that we're working on is the LGBTQ Queens Hero Stamp campaign featuring Sylvia Rivera, Marsha P. Johnson, and our Queen Mother, our founder, Mama Jose Julia Sara, to have a commemorative stamp put in their name and in their honor. And it's working, and we're doing very well, but we still got a long way to go. So there is a website, LGBTQQueensStamp.org, where you can find the information there. You can always reach out to me or Vu or Miss Frank. They can get you a hold of me. All it takes is a letter. We have a template, so you print it out, you sign it, and you send it off. It's as easy as that. It takes 5 seconds. So the more letters we get, the best it can be. But that's what the council is and what it means to be an heir. It's an honor and a lot of work, but I enjoy the work because it furthers our legacy as the LGBTQ people.
And well-deserved, sister. I mean, you really are, a pioneering force in your community and internationally. You are everywhere. You were just in Kentucky, and you travel the world, literally, representing this amazing organization that's been around now for more than 55 years.
Yes.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, and I echo the sentiments on the stamp campaign. It couldn't be simpler. The template letter is so easy to fill out. Personalize it on your own. And we need letters from everywhere. And especially if you are in a place that doesn't have a lot of LGBTQ folks, that letter means so much more. So no matter where you are, please consider sending a letter because these folks should be recognized, and having our history on a stamp, like, that means something. It's visibility.
It does. And we got Harvey Milk. I mean, the Imperial Court Council is responsible for the Harvey Milk stamp. For those also don't know, a U.S. naval ship named after Harvey Milk was started, and the campaign ended with the International Court Council and Queen Mother Nicole. So we have the power to make things change, things happen for our legacy, proven right there with that stamp and a naval ship named after an openly gay man. Can you believe that?
Amazing. Yes, full of sailors.
Yeah, full seaman, honey. Yes, I love it.
So along with everything with the International Court Council, you, of course, are the Queen Mother of Washington, D.C. So what great things are happening there? We hear you might be having a little bit of a czar ball and a coronation coming up.
Yes, well, actually, tonight we are doing our Show Our Pride show at Freddy's Beach Bar, our home bar, like you guys have at the Shea, but we have the third Sunday of every month is our night at Freddy's Beach Bar. So tonight we're doing our big Pride show in honor of Pride Month, of course. Tonight it's hosted by Their Majesties Emperor Rudy and Empress Ginger, who have reigned for 2 years. Love them. But yes, come July 24th, we have our Czar Ball. Normally, that's where we would vote and announce our incoming monarchs. But since we did that pre-COVID or during COVID, I forget. I know it was virtual. We are just celebrating not only the mid-reign of the 2 years for Rudy and Ginger, but we're going to congratulate and officially announce once again, our Emperor and Empress-elect 10, which I'm very honored that we are. I get emotional every time I think about it. I'm very happy that we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary.
You family, we cry too. It's good.
Girl, celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year, but we will be crowning our first non-binary monarch, and it just warms my heart that we have this system that just embraces everybody, no matter if they're male, female, non-binary, transgender, indigenous. Pups. I mean, we went through the whole pup thing a couple years ago when we welcome into the community, into this court system, and it's an honor to be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh, how are we so lucky to share this person's name? Like, how are we so lucky? I just want to know.
I begged and pleaded. I'm not sure how you got it.
She just walked over to me and yanked me. It was like, hey, girl,
come here.
I got something to tell you.
I'll never forget it. It was during family dinner at Connecticut weekend.
That's right.
Yep. That's right. All of us right after you cried and said yes.
Literally, I was like ugly cry, like total ugly cry. So we are so lucky that Destiny is going to be gracing us with one of her fabulous performances. If you have not seen the one and only Destiny B. Childs perform, well, you better sit down, honey. Okay, you better get your virtual dollars ready. Okay, because you are in for a treat. So please welcome to the virtual stage our dearest family member. You're gonna love her. You're gonna love her. Please welcome to the stage the one and only Destiny B. Child.
See if I can get this to work right.
Stray bullet and a mama cries. Her baby won't be coming home tonight. Sirens screaming down the avenue. Just another story on the evening news. Whoa. Politics and prejudice. How the hell did it ever come to this? When everybody's gotta pick a side. It don't matter if you're wrong or right, we know, and so it goes. But I hold on to hope and I won't let go, 'cause I believe you and me are sisters and brothers, and I believe we're made to be here for each other, and we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. The world that seems broken together again, yeah. Sometimes it takes a lot of faith to keep believing there will come a day when the tears and the sadness, the pain and the hate, the struggle, this madness will all fade away. And I believe you and me are sisters and brothers, and I believe we're made to be here for each other, and we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. The one that seems broken together again. I believe in the end, love is power, love is a smile, love reaches out, love is the remedy, love is the answer, love's an open door, love is the only thing worth fighting for. I believe you and me are sisters and brothers, and I believe we're made to be here for each other, and we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. The one that seems broken together again. I believe in the end.
Love wins. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between, Miss Carrie Underwood. Give it up.
I'm wearing these glasses because every time my sister performs, I tear up a little bit because the feeling is palpable. It's in my heart. We love you so much. We love you. Thank you so much. We know how busy you are, and like you being on this show with everything, it's not going to fit. I got a big head. Don't try it. It's not cute. It's not cute. It's not cute. It's not cute. Ooh, Lord. Anything for charity. All right, it's for the children. Thank you so much, Destiny. So we're going to bring back Allah, Juancarlos, and Patrick Dunn. Destiny, stay on, please. We're going to play a game, Hanny. Yes, we are. We're going to get this moving. Welcome back, Patrick, Allah, and Juancarlos. I'm not sure if y'all had a chance to meet in the studio before, but if you do not know Destiny, it is Destiny and Allah and JC and Patrick. I'm Miss Frank and you are Vu. Okay, so we're gonna play a game called Kiki Kai Kai Kick to the Curb Girl, and what that means is, you know what Kiki is, right? Kiki is it is an opportunity to find the best girlfriend and just kiki and have some fun and some drinks, have a good time, right? But then you got that best girlfriend you want to kai kai with, you know what I mean? La 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 la. Okay, a little inappropriate. Okay, you don't want to do that, right? And then you got the people you want to kick to the curb. So I'm going to give each of you 3 names of 3 individuals, and you get to decide if you kiki with them, kai kai with them, or kick them to the curb girl. Got it? All right, we're going to go with my sister first. Destiny, you ready?
Bring it on.
All right, honey. All right, here we go. Okay, Elton John, Barack Obama, Viola Davis. Go.
Oh, okay. Let me see Elton John, kick him to the curb. Been there, done that. He's over with, honey. Barack Obama, oh, honey. Give me a fresh bottle of poppers. I'll talk out with that man any day of the week, honey. Mr. President. Oh, look at my Marilyn Monroe wig. And the honey, Viola Davis, I will kiki with that lady any day to sit on a beach and drink with her. Oh my God, that would just be amazing.
She's everything. She's everything. Yeah. Yes, I love that. I feel the exact same way about Obama. We'll talk later. All right, so we're going to go to my darling Allah. You ready, darling?
I'm definitely going to have a kiki with Elton. I'm going to do a kai kai with Viola.
Yeah.
And I would have to kick Obama to the curb, but
That's all
only
right.
because
That's okay.
of
And
his,
guess what? We got 3 new ones for you too. We got
yes.
3 new
Okay,
names too.
She kicked him to the curb and he landed on Destiny.
That's exactly
yeah.
what happened. You kicked
See,
him aside,
Destiny
and Destiny was
teamwork.
like,
I
"I'll
got
take
you,
him."
sis. I got
Yeah.
you, sis. You know.
Yeah. So your 3, Allah, if you are ready, my darling. Your totally yours 3. Okay. So Dolly Parton, Angela Davis, RuPaul.
Oh my God. So I'm kicking RuPaul to the curb. As soon as I heard RuPaul, I was like, curb! But who was who was it again? It was Angela Davis.
And Dolly Parton.
Definitely, and Dolly Parton. I would have to do a Kiki with Angela because I just need the tea. And so, you know, good old Dolly. We talk about 1967, darling. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I love it. I love it. Juancarlos, you are next, my darling. Okay, here we go. So you have Russell Crowe, Missy Elliott, Maya Angelou.
Ooh. Russell the curve. He's go away. Wait, where were the other names again? Sorry, I just got this.
It's okay. Elizabeth Taylor, the famous actress, Missy Elliott, and Maya Angelou. Kiki Kai Kai kick to the curb, girl.
You
I'm
gave new
Kai-Kai with
people.
Maya Angelou. I don't care. I would bring her back from the dead, honey.
Yeah,
Kai-Kai with her.
I would Kai-Kai because I want her to like write poetry about me. So when people read it, like, yeah, she's talking about this, touch the skin, oh, this skin. And then, so I have really bad short-term memory. Who is the third person?
It's okay. Elizabeth Taylor and Missy Elliott.
I you with Missy because we can write a song together. I can't sing, but still, like, I will listen. Those that her music is dope. I love it.
Missy has turned a couple of non-singers into Grammy Award winners, so you good.
Yeah, if anybody wants to write poetry about me, I am good at like looking all cute.
Right, all right. And we're gonna go to our last contestant, Patrick Dunn. Are you ready, darling?
Remember, I have big gaps in my pop culture knowledge because I did not grow up in this country.
But I got you. You're gonna be fine. I promise. It's gonna be all right.
We found all the Turkish celebrities.
That's
perfect.
None of us will know who they are, but that's okay. All right, are you ready, darling? Okay. Liza Minnelli, Stevie Wonder, Hillary Clinton.
Well, definitely kicking Hillary Clinton to the curb. I mean, she was cool at some point, I'm sure, but I think I'd kiki with Liza because I feel like I would just like sit there doing shots with her and then like trying to dance, and it would be a really good time. But it needs to be like now Liza, not then Liza. Like I want drunk, I no longer know how to dance Liza.
That's so mean. Oh, I love Liza any age. Liza, if you're watching.
And I don't remember who the third one is, but I guess I'm Kai with that
Stevie
one.
Wonder. But I guess you're right, exactly.
I mean, I'll
figure a song about you. So we'll have a song about Patrick and poetry about Juancarlos. That'll be perfect.
That's right.
So I'll be hanging out with Barack.
Yes, that's right. Yes. That was Kiki Kai Kai kick to the curb, girl. We want to thank the one and only Destiny B. Childs, Juancarlos Soto, Ala Ochumare, and Patrick J. Dunn. Thank you so much, all of you. We love you. Thank you for what you do for your community every single day to save the lives and promote the equality of LGBTQ plus people. We love you.
Thank you, everyone.
Love you guys. Bye.
I think Allah was sticking around for that jewelry.
I think Allah was sticking around for that jewelry too. So I think it's time, my darlings. Yes, we are. We are at the end of another CT Connection. And so we are going to get started, and we are going to start the live off for this gorgeous bib necklace. Look at all those little dangle dingles. Look how gorgeous. Look how the light picks this up. We are starting this bid at $70. Please remember, all net proceeds go to our RAIN beneficiaries, the New Haven Pride Center, APNH New Haven, a place to nourish your health, mind, body, and spirit, and the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, Connecticut chapter. Oh, Kyle Edwards at 70. Oh, Kyle, you
can use a bib right now.
Yes, Don, it is very pretty. So what I will do for our guests, I will hold it up to my neck so you can see exactly how large it is, because I am large and in charge. Okay, it is beautiful. Right? It hangs beautifully, and it has separate strands, so it's got some fabulous movement, my darlings. And it has a fabulous extender, so if you have a thicker neck, as I do, it will work for you, Hanny. So we are at $70 with Kyle Edwards. Anybody else? Anybody else? This is a fabulous Father's Day present.
That necklace with a little bit of a fringe dress. Yeah. Yes, all the movements. Yes.
Yeah, do we have 75? Do we have 80? Do we have 1,000? I'm joking. No, but you know what's wonderful about this too? This is totally clear stones, so you can wear this with absolutely any color. Where I hold this up against the rainbow, and as you see, that is very true. Right? So we have a bid for $70 from Kyle Edwards. Anybody else? Anybody else, my darlings? Look how gorgeous it is. Vu, I think that you could pull this off.
You think that I could pull this off?
I think you could pull this off, yes. Oh, Victor. Yes, honey, from the Waterfall Empire. We love you.
Bijou.
Yes, we love you, Bijou, so much. So we are 75. Yes, my darling. Thank you, honey. Oh, my gosh. Okay, we're at 75. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. With Bijou, honey.
And Bijou knows what they're talking about, because Bijou is French for jewelry.
That's right. Hello. Look at this between us. Ooh, it's like a Vogue photo shoot.
It could be like a Siamese twin earring.
Yeah, it can actually. If you are a Siamese twin, you could both wear it. Yeah, why not? Nothing wrong with that, right? Come on now. So I think that we should do a countdown. What do you think, Boo?
I think that's great.
Okay, we're gonna do 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1.
Thank you, Bijou.
Thank you, Bijou. Yes, honey. Yes, honey. So $75 to our amazing, gorgeous, fabulous friend Bijou. Thank you. We will get that to you ASAP. Boy, oh boy, we are at the end of another CT Connection.
Yes.
Thank you so much to our amazing guests, Allah, Juancarlos, Patrick Dunn, Destiny B. Child. Again, thank you so much to our amazing segment producer, Kyle Edwards. To my amazing Emperor Vu, you are everything.
Oh, and you are everything. And if you would like to see us again, our next CT Connection is on July 11th at 2 p.m. We will be back here with 4 amazing new guests.
Yes, and we are highlighting LGBTQ plus title holders in the state of Connecticut. Before we go really, really quickly, we just got some family just came around us. So we got some people who just want to say hi real quick. We have our Imperial Crown Infante, Anna Springer, and our Imperial Crown Princess, yes, Bonnie Petit, who just happened to pop in and is going to help us end the show today. Oh, no, Anna, you better come back. You better come back.
There's a performance.
Yes, there is. So y'all get to do an interpretive dance to me singing, honey. Let's do it. And to our live studio audience, you could do a, yes, thank you again to Joan Lynn Dance Company. Thank you, Dolores Degage, and all the amazing, amazing people that were here today to celebrate with us. So are you ready? So we will see you on July 11th at 2 p.m. for the next episode of CT Connection. Okay, here we go. Hey, old friend, what do you say? Old friend, are you okay? Old friend, are we or aren't we unique? No, time goes by, everything else keeps changing. You and we, us, we get continued next week. Most friends fade, or they don't make the grade. New ones are quickly made, and in a pinch, sure they'll do. But us, old friend, what's to discuss? Old friends, here's to us. Who's like us? Damn few. Thank you, love you.